InVigorate folks. So yesterday I saw somebody who's had a bit of a sore back for a couple of weeks. We looked at just some gentle stretches just to help to open out the back of her body, so working into the back of her hips and working into her lower back. So I thought I'd go through some of those today. They're really nice kind of early stage stretches. Now obviously when we're working on sore backs, sore hips and things like that, if we're getting any kind of nasty pain, any pinching, any pain travelling down our legs, pins, needles, numbness, anything like that, just ease off and go gently with things. You know you can always drop me an email. Also, if you're stretching and you're holding your breath, you're pursing your lips, you're gritting your teeth, you're probably pushing a little bit too far into the stretch. So just back off a little bit, find your breath again, move a little bit less deeply into the stretches. And that'll mean that then your body feels safe enough to start to let go and you get a lot more for your money. Now the things that I'm going to talk through, some of them are more static stretches, some of them are more kind of mindful mobility exercises. If you find a stretch that feels really nice, you can be holding that there for 2, 3, 4 minutes. Ultimately, if you're stretching a muscle, about 90 seconds is the amount of time it takes for the muscle to start to let go. So if you find a position that feels lovely and you can breathe into it and it feels nice and gentle, stay there for a couple of minutes if you want to and if you feel comfortable doing so, and you'll just get a bit more mobility out of that stretch. So I'll talk you through what we're going to do. So we're going to start off doing some work on hands and knees and then we'll lie down. Obviously the things I show you, you can pause the video, work on them for a bit longer, tailor your stretching and mobility session to what feels nice for you basically. Okay, so we're going to come on to hands and knees. We're going to put our hands underneath our shoulders, knees underneath hips to start off with, and we're going to do cat-cow. So cat-cow, we're going to start off by tucking our tailbone under, and then as we feel a bit of a stretch come into our lower back, we'll start to lift through our abdomen, lift through our rib cage, and eventually our head will tuck under. We're then going to rock our pelvis the other way, so leading with our tailbone again, then moving through our chest, shining our chest forwards and looking ahead of us. So we're going to lead with our pelvis and let the rest of our body follow. Now moving mindfully, practicing moving mindfully means that you're going to get extra benefits from this mobility work. Not only are you moving your body, you're also re-educating your brain as to how your body moves, feeling that gentle mobility. It'll just enrich how therapeutic this exercise is. Now obviously we can do our straight cat and cow. We can also start to move outside the box a little bit. So you might find that it feels really nice to kind of tuck forwards and round and then arch as you come back. You might find that you might just go round in a circle. You might find that in your cat pose you want to sort of rock back over one hip. So all of that might feel lovely. Just explore where you need to stretch basically. Use this as an exploration as much as for a mobility exercise. Now from here, we can bring knees just a little bit wider, big toes can come to touch. I'm going to place one hand just underneath my chest, okay? So kind of in the middle of the mat. And then I'm going to open up the other arm up towards the ceiling. And then I'm going to thread my hand between my other arm and my knee. Now you can bend your elbow and bring your head all the way to the ground, or you might just turn it into a bit more of a dynamic exercise and just move between. If you're coming to a still position, you can bring yourself down with your head and your shoulder onto the floor, and you can even add in an extra arm extension there as well. So play around with what feels nice. This is a lovely exercise for getting into your upper back as well. Okay? Keeping our knees wide, we're now going to move into child's pose. So with child's pose, you're going to be moving into quite a deep lower back and kind of hip stretch. If you need to pop a couple of pillows behind your knees, if you need to rest on a big cushion, support yourself wherever you need really. A lot of people find wide knees comfortable, but you can also do narrow knees as well. So I'm going to go wide knees. I'm just going to sit my sit bones back towards my heels, and then I might come down onto elbows, or I might come all the way down, kind of resting my forehead onto the mat. This is a lovely place to tap into your breath. So you might start to breathe into your lower back, into your abdomen, even kind of breathing down into your pelvis and your pelvic floor. So this can be really nice if you suffer from a tight pelvic floor as well. This can be lovely for getting into that as well. To intensify this stretch, you might find that you just move slightly over to one side. So you can see I'm taking my arms over to my right hand side, and that intensifies the stretch through my left lower back. So you can play around with this as well. Explore what feels nice, what feels good for your body. Okay? That's one that you can stay in for quite a while if you want to. So you can just rest there, breathe. If you've got cushions underneath you feel lovely and supported, you can stay there between 2 and 5 minutes. Just breathing into your lower back, breathing into that area, creating a bit of space. So we're going to move on to our backs now. I'm going to be this way around so you can see what my legs are doing. We're going to do something called windscreen wipers first. Now you could do this sitting as well, or you can do it lying down. I'll show you it sitting first and you can get the idea. So I'm going to put my feet as wide as the yoga mat, and then just resting back on my arms, I'm just going to let my knees fall side to side. So ultimately I'm mobilising my pelvis and my hips here. Lying on my back, that would look like this. So kind of feeling that rotation through your hip joints. You might feel it through the front of your pelvis. You might feel it through the back of your glute. So that's windscreen wipers, just moving between the two positions, and you can hold that stretch if you want to. Bringing feet a bit narrower now, we can do knee rolls. So if I keep my feet and my knees together now, can you see it moving more up into my lower back and my pelvis? So I might spread my arms in a T shape, and I'm just going to feel that stretch, maybe more through my lower back, maybe more through my hips. If you want to intensify that stretch, you can cross one leg over the other and then let your knees fall, and you'll feel that a little bit more intensely. It's up to you. If you want to back up on a stretch a little bit, you could put a pillow underneath your knees so that you can relax into that pose. So wherever your body is on that given day, just meet it where it's at and support it, okay? Bear in mind that you'll get more of a stretch if you keep both shoulders anchored, okay? But if you need to let your shoulder peel off, then you can also do that. Play around with that. Now we're going to go through a couple of glute stretches, so a couple of stretches that get into the buttock, into the back of the hip. This area interacts directly with your lower back as well, so really important not to miss this out when we're stretching. So we've got a figure 4 glute stretch. So with both knees bent, we're going to pop one ankle on the opposite knee. That in itself might feel like enough of a stretch. If you want to, you could rest your calf up on a sofa or a chair, or you can interlink your hands behind your thigh and just bring your knee in towards you a little bit further and feel that stretch. You may feel it down into your hamstrings, maybe into your buttock, maybe kind of around the hip joint itself. Any pinchy pain right in the groin, just back off a little bit. Okay? So that's a really nice stretch. You could be there for a few minutes if you wanted to. The other stretch that can feel really nice for your buttock, especially piriformis muscle, is to bring one knee, so my left knee is going to come across my body towards my right shoulder or towards my right armpit. You can lengthen out the other leg if you want to, or you can keep it bent. It depends on where you feel that. You should then feel that around the back of the hip. This one has a bit more potential to feel pinchy in the groin though, so play around with that. Those two glute stretches I've just talked you through, you can also do in sitting. So you could sit either with your legs out long or sit in a chair, cross one ankle across the opposite knee and just have a bit of a lean forwards. Or you can do foot on the outside of the opposite thigh and hug it towards your shoulder. So to me that feels more comfortable in my hip. Play around with what works for you. Everyone's hips are slightly different in their anatomy, so have a little play with what you feel your body needs as well. So again, with this stretch, if you can hold it whilst you're breathing, whilst you're not kind of gritting your teeth, etc., etc., you could hold this again here for 2 to 3 minutes if you wanted to. Just breathing low down into your lower back, into your hip, into your pelvic floor can be really lovely for releasing off any tension. So as always, drop me an email if you've got any questions and enjoy. Take care. Bye.